You think you've just moved to a new country. You're an American in Colombia, a Brit in Spain, whatever. You think you've just changed zip codes, maybe your mailing address, but you haven't. You've actually stepped into a geopolitical tightrope that most people don't realize until the wind starts blowing and it gets a little dicey and you might fall off. See, most of the expat videos are about the surface of living overseas, the beaches, the $3 lattes, how far your dollar goes. That's the lifestyle dream, and we all are well aware of it. And the grass is always greener on the other side. It always is going to be. There is a quiet structural reality to international life that nobody talks about, fundamental differences. This is what I call a third country problem. And if you don't understand it, probably never heard it, your entire life can be upended by a single election or a diplomatic spat that had nothing to do with you. At first, your move feels simple, but over 5 or 10 years, your life spreads out, keeps going, things are happening, normal stuff. Your work is in country A, your residency might be in country B, your spouse is from country C, your bank accounts are tied throughout all of this stuff. They're all scattered across borders. I mean, you have things going on all over the place. You don't have one country anymore. You have two. And here's the scary part. Those two countries can stop getting along. Let me give you a real example. Right now, my wife cannot enter the United States. So our reality is we've built a life here in Colombia where I've managed to become a resident and I might soon become a permanent resident. As right now, she can't even get a visa to the United States because of the fact that the two countries are having a spat and the United States has closed the embassy here. So we have a routine, we have friends, we have a home. But what happens if government swings down here like it did in the United States? What if borders close here? Sanctions go crazy. That causes Colombians to get upset. I'm not going to go down the road of politics, but you know how things can happen. If the relationship between your home and your host deteriorates, where do the people go that get squeezed out in the middle? You know, you're the one who suddenly finds visas revoked, bank accounts frozen, and needing to find a third country that hopefully is okay with both of your countries. And so that's the third country problem. And there is a certain amount of us expats that are in that right now. I'm not currently in that in Colombia, but you can imagine some expats that might be in other countries. I know there was a case of this very well documented. It took place with a man that had married a woman in Africa, and now and then he's getting kicked out of there. And so who knows where they're going to wind up. So, because of reciprocal sort of whatever, fighting back and forth. So that's a possibility. The third country isn't then it wouldn't be a vacation spot. It wouldn't be hey, where's the affordable place and all this, this typical way that we might look at expat as sort of like a permanent version of a digital nomad remote worker for some of us. I mean, and others, there's the retirement. And then others, there's specifically going there to take a job. And that's not really the community I'm talking about here. People that work at embassies, people that work for major U.S. corporations that are part of complexes overseas. That's basically you're in the States, you're just living someplace else. I'm talking about the people like myself, like other expats who have moved into communities and built lives there that have residencies, that have, identification cards of the company or the country they're in, and maybe a driver's license and things like speak the language, things like that. You don't have to do all of those things, but trying to do those is the key and really immersing yourself. And so when we then develop a sort of we live here now, and then so what happens with us, particularly in Colombia? If Colombia were to say, hey, US, you know what, we're going to do the same thing. Bye. And so we could wind up in that situation. And that's something that people are not talking about. I'm going to get back to this topic next week, in particular with Colombia, but I don't want to go out there just this yet. But this is a crisis now. It's no longer for these people, for this expat community. As the world continues to change as fast as it is, we're seeing it in real time. I mean, the news cycle is just going crazy right now with all kinds of developments. There's going to be lots of reciprocal stuff, and there's going to be lots of people out there that are not traditional refugees, that are people that have solid backgrounds that have capital enough to say, I want to find a place that is stable, that I don't have toxic people all around me. I don't have whatever it is. I'm not running away from any of that crap. I just don't want anything to do with it. Is there fresh air someplace else? And if so, I want to go breathe that for a while. And so if people leave the country and you travel around, that's fine. You can do that. We can legally do that as Americans. We're just different, obviously, than traditional refugees. I didn't leave the United States politically upset or mad or persecuted, nothing like that. The opposite is what I'm talking about, is what you see to the United States, not from the United States. And as I've said before, people that leave the United States because they're pissed off about politics, you're just going to be pissed off till you stop figuring out how to let other things like this bother you that much. Don't go be pissed off in somebody else's country, because that just makes Americans look bad too. It's just like, don't go to places and trash it and have the total party lifestyle like you see in Medellin and places like that in Thailand. Again, I'm getting off track here, but our responsibility in us as this small micro community is to be good citizens, wherever we can go that is safe. Can we be here for more than 5 years? If I want to be here, can I buy a place? If I buy it, does that mean that if the property value around me goes up and mine doesn't, that I somehow get squeezed out of it? There's a situation I'll talk about next week here in Colombia where a guy had something like that happen. He ended up getting his visas revoked. And so none of this kind of horseshit. I mean, that's ridiculous. If you can't run a country, we don't need to be there. And if you're going to have reactionary countries that are constantly closing borders, changing the rules, changing all of this stuff, giving blowback to people that want to come into your area and just live there and contribute and not gentrify, not put you on display, not take pictures of all the poor people so they can show it back in the States. Like, look at this, like you see right now, the favelas over in Brazil. People are getting selfies by drones in these areas where you shouldn't be, and that's not cool. It's like going to Medellin and going on a Pablo Escobar tour. Not cool. Not cool. Don't do that. And so we need countries that can accept people that are going to be responsible travelers that are a different kind of refugee nowadays. Refugee from dysfunctional business of countries and populations that can't figure out a way to coexist. Is there a land like that still out there in the world? That is the third country problem. That third country, please stand up. We'll see you. I'll be back later on I'll be back on Thursday. I've got 4 parts of this series coming up. If you like this kind of content, feel free to comment below. Mash that start button, subscribe button, all that fancy stuff that all of us say. We're supposed to say it. I mean, yeah, it helps. I'm just trying to get message out there for people like me. They're in this boat. Not people like me. I don't want to make myself seem like a special or anything here. I'm the accidental expat. I didn't intend to stay gone from the United States. I just happened to be gone for a very long time. And while out there, I got married in another country, not even in this country. And then we moved to this country. And so it's a lot like in my professional world. I work in counseling, and a lot of the people I see in counseling are referred there from courts, and it turned into a punitive process, and it defeats the purpose of counseling. These kinds of things, when they cut between families on these international laws and based off all these whatever's going on, is getting in the way. That is law getting in the way of love, just like law getting in the way of therapy. Law gets in the way of a lot of things when it's not used appropriately. See you next time, man.